Good evening, everybody. How are you? This is Enrique of Spanish United. Tonight, I have a very special guest, my mother. A lot of people have been asking me if I could do a podcast with her. So, Mom, would you be kind enough to introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Oh, hello. My name is Isabel, and I am a part of the group that my son has, Spanish United. I have been advocating for him. I have been always a very much advocate also for people that are in need, and for quite some time about before he made this group, I was involved with him into going to the homeless and helping them um, in their needs. Uh, I question them and they tell me what they need, and I try to help and supply in as much as we could with our own money. Never asked anybody, and we have been doing this for I would say 5 years now. So here I am uh, trying to do the best I can into helping his organization.
I really appreciate you coming on the show, Ma. I really appreciate it because it shows that my family is the first ones that should give support to the relatives that are trying to do a just cause. As you know, I started this foundation about a year and a half ago, and it started from a group of 10 people, and it's grown to over 870 people about. And I have about 5 and 6 chapters in different states. And it has really grown to the point that I have been recognized by different organizations, and I've been speaking with important people. One of the things I want to talk about, Mom, that there is a very big issue of poverty within the Hispanic community, and a lot of it has to do with lack of education, lack of opportunities, and a lot of it stems from the social problems that are in the community. And one thing that I see that Hispanics have been here for generations, but they don't seem to break that cycle of poverty. So one of the things that I'm trying to do, or at least I'm trying to get done, is to create community centers where people, especially the youth, can come do their homework, keep themselves busy, and at the same time learn essential skills like vocational training, and also if they have the education or, for example, the gifts to go to higher learning, to find ways to provide like a scholarship, because you have people in the barrios that are educated, that are gifted, but sadly because of the lack of resources, many of them are not able to go to the university or even get a trade school, because trade school is just as expensive as going to university. So I'm trying to partner with different people to try to establish Spanish United community centers in different places, not only to provide services, but also to preserve the culture, preserve the language, because there is a threat of assimilation, that they can lose, Hispanics can lose their identity and their language and culture within a generation or so. So, from your point of view, um, how do you see the issue of Hispanic poverty, the social issues within the community, and what social and economic reforms can be done to alleviate the situation in the Hispanic communities, Mom?
Well, I advocate for everything that you are doing in every way. What happened here is that um, is very difficult if you don't have the resources, the economical resources to do all these centers. It's very difficult because it's been for really a long time that Hispanics are like uh, put on the side, like kind of invisible, like, and like I go to the areas of the downtown of Los Angeles, they I see all the conglomerate of the high high amount of Hispanics of every ethnicity, like uh, 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 Salvadorians,
Mexicans,
Mexicans,
South
also
Americans.
from many South American countries. And one of the ones that are the lowest here is the Puerto Ricans. But it so happened that yesterday I was in one grocery store here where I live, and it's predominantly uh, another race, a white, you know, uh,
Ethnicity.
ethnicity. And I didn't have any encounter with nobody before this, but yesterday, for some reason, I was going to buy something, and the person was taking care of me already. You take a number, and he was taking care of me, and then he was serving the first piece of thing that I asked, and then he was going to do the next. And then when he finished, I was going to tell him, I want this type of cheese. It was cheese. But I needed to go and show it to him. And then this lady was standing right there, and I said to her, "Excuse me, may I pass through so that I can?" She said to me, "I'm not going to move from here. You can see it from there." And I said, "Well, no, I cannot see it. I need to see the price and then tell him what I want." And then she said, "Well, I'm not going to move. You can see it from there." And then she told the guy, "She can see it from there. I don't have to move." And then, she started to insult me. And then one of the things that she said, "Why don't you go back to Mexico?" And I was kind of shocked when, she talked to me like that. And then I said, "Well, I'm not Mexican, but, that's prerogative. I am from Puerto Rico, but and I am a U.S. citizen." But she kept saying, "You know what? I think that people have mental health, mental problem. You should go to a hospital." She was kind of, and she was not
Mm.
a crazy person. She knew what she was talking about, and so yeah, I could see the hate that she had, and that was, you know, my blood pressure started to go up.
I remember. I was
I
concerned.
am an 82-year-old woman, so this was very hard on me. This is not the first time that I felt racism against, you know, against my people. Personally, it happened also when I was living in Michigan, where I had retired over there, but my home there. And let me tell you, I rented my home in a winter, not because I wanted to rent it, but these people were white people. The lady was evicted from with her husband took her, told her to get out of the house with the kids. He didn't want her there, so she was looking for a place, and then someone told her that I was always closing my home in the winter, you know. In the last 3 winters, because it was very hard on me, I didn't pay as much too much in the house, so I was going to Puerto Rico. What happened here is that um, I told her I would be back in April. I come back, and when I found was that she had destroyed my home completely. They, from the rooftop down. I I couldn't believe, what happened. I called the police, and the police came. A young man, and he was kind of surprised, and he kind of cried with me too. And he told me, "I don't understand why this woman did this to you." But I made the report, and they were going to look for her, nowhere to be found, with her teenage children, destroyed completely. Completely. I couldn't have, I didn't have the money to make the house. You had to kind of make it
Mm-hmm.
all over,
Right.
because it was
It
incomprehensible.
was it was damage beyond repair.
Beyond repair. You really. So I go to the homeowners and Syria, and you know what they say? You know, you I told them what happened, and she said, "Well, I'm sorry. We're sorry, but it's in your contract that you're not supposed to have people in your house without letting us know," which that was a mistake that I made. I was trying to help her because winter was coming, and I said, "Okay, I'll let you, stay." And she said, "I'm going to take care of everything in your house and whatever." I moved some stuff to a storage. So the homeowner insurance told me, "I'm sorry, we cannot do anything about it because you breached the contract." And, I didn't get anything for my home. Homeowners insurance denied me, you know, anything. So I was left without a home, and
Mm-hmm.
I came back to California, and I became homeless. I said my son went to his father's, but he didn't know that I was going to my sister, but my sister wasn't available. So I ended up in a shelter. And I was there for about 6 months so that I could find a place while my son was staying with his father. This was so incredible to me. And it was like I felt so I felt like these people terrorized me. These were, I'm telling you, the area was white,
Mm-hmm.
but I went there because it was
The cost of
more
living,
economical for
the cost
me.
of living
I
was
was
lower.
retiring, and this was going to be my son's inheritance too. So it was devastating. It's very hard for me to keep on. If when I remember, I really feel horrible. So this is part of. I am taking this time to let you know because this is part of what goes on when you have racism so embedded in people. Like this woman that this did this to me today and yesterday, and it's really very bad. So the best way to do it, like my son is saying, like what he's advocating out there, is to have people educated, especially the white people and others, so that they can understand what Hispanics are about, really, because just by uh, you know Hispanic, illegal, whatever, and then
A lot
there's
of
this
people are
stigma.
based are
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
stereotypes.
this stigma is hurting the many Hispanics. So the everything that he's going to do, that he wants to do, really needs financial help because it's a big job. But it could help. It really could help because when I talk with these homeless people, they really tell the needs, and you can tell them. It's not that you cannot say is that they are mentally
Right.
ill or whatever things like that. They just came out on the luck, and I was there once. So I understand them.
And one thing I wanted to add is that a lot of people have the stigma that most people that are homeless, they either did it to themselves by
Right.
having vices or they're irresponsible, and that's not
That's
necessarily the
right.
case.
Hmm.
When I've been out in the field doing like intakes with different people, even prior to doing Spanish United, I actually spoke to a nuclear physicist, and he showed me his badge, and he was telling me the truth, and you could tell that he was educated. He lost everything because his wife left them and some other issues, and he became displaced. So there's a lot of people that are displaced primarily because of circumstances, primarily relating to the economy. And, you know, people need to understand that homelessness is not a local issue, it's a national issue. And at the same time, it's becoming a national security issue because when you have a large population of people that are displaced, that are unstable, and then you have a small elite of people, that can create a lot of problems. And in many places where you have a large indigent population and you have a small elite that controls everything, what happens is that it causes instability. And this is nothing to do with politics. It has to do with the human condition.
Exactly.
when people are not able to cover their basic necessities, and at the same time they're being mistreated by those that put them in that position to begin with, it does something to the person's psyche.
Right.
So I believe that the only way that this can be resolved also is that there needs to be a creation and an establishment of a social safety net.
Right.
The United States is one of the few countries in the industrialized world that they don't have an expanded social safety net like in many European, Canadian, and Asian countries, where the government has more of a bigger role in providing for the basic necessities of the people. Because when you have an established safety net that is sustainable, even though people may struggle financially, they don't have that burden of, am I going to eat out of a garbage can? How am I going to, pay my bills? So I think it's
Okay.
very important. And
Uh-huh.
also
Yes.
another thing I was gonna say, Mom, that what happened to us at the store kind of surprised me because it's like I haven't experienced anything like that in a long time. But one thing that gets me is that one thing is that it's a native born American that says that. Another thing when it's a foreigner from another place that says it to you, it kind of messes
Yeah,
with you
yeah,
and
because she's not from here, but she's been here. You know,
right.
these people have been here for a long time, and they have the means because they're white. You know, they
Hmm.
are not Hispanic;
They have
they're
the
white.
economic means.
So because of that, so they kind of look down on you, and you know, it's a pity. It's a pity because the government had tried to help the homeless, but you know, it's just too many people. It's just too much work for the government directly. So people that are able to help into this what Ricky is doing, it would be marvelous because then you could start getting something going that is going to make everybody proud, including you know the white people.
Hmm.
So when there's the education and then the stigma is getting
Hmm.
gets out of the way, everything will be more normalized.
Hmm. The best way to prevent racial conflict, instability, and other issues is that there needs to be an equitable income equality. Because when you have one group of people that are a minority that have more economic advantages over a majority of people that don't have the means, that unfortunately, as human nature shows, it creates resentment. And as you know, Mom, Hispanics are a very large
Yes.
minority, and I feel that in the next couple of decades, if the income inequality does not improve or education improves, there might be further problems within the near future, because Hispanics already make about 20% of the population.
Even 10 years, you know, at least 10 years that this thing could be you know kind of fixed, even though it won't be exactly as we would like, but it will, you know, it will somehow ease up, and I think that the government would get of this.
I definitely agree. I wanted to tell you thank you so much for coming on the show, Mom, and I really appreciate you taking your time.
Thank you for having me, Ricky, Enrique,
Have yourself a wonderful evening.
and you too.
Bye bye.